So fast forward to Titanic. It's a movie about a boat sinking, but a couple hours went by in that movie and nothing happened. And then finally the boat sank in like the last 20 minutes. I mean,
See, only you would say nothing happened. Other people would say this relationship developed and all of those things. But you know, it was interesting. Lightstorm, my company with Jim Cameron, we just signed a new 5-year deal with 20th Century Fox. And you know, Jim, who had done Terminator and Aliens and True Lies, you know, we went into Peter Chernin, who was the chairman of Fox at the time, and we pitched him this period chick flick in which 1,500 people died. You know, it wasn't the easiest of meetings, but what Peter saw in that is what I think makes any piece of content work. He saw story, he saw emotion. And I think the same thing that comes across in the Lego ad or the other ads, it's about character and emotion. And you know, we set out on the path of Titanic, you know, again, not expecting the success that we would have, but always believing in what we had and believing that, you know, maybe in the best case we would be, you know, a Dances with Wolves, you know, a long movie. I would tell people would say, boy, Titanic's long. I'd say, wait, it's only 2 hours and 74 minutes. And they would get that. But, you know, it's about what is the story you're telling and how long do you have to tell that story.
And do you think Titanic would land in the top 20 when you made it?
Oh, not at all. We didn't think it could, but I think one of the interesting things, when you talk again about nothing happening in the movie, what we do with films is we try and share the films with an audience and get feedback from them as we work on the process, which is an important creative element in going through it. We took Titanic to basically Minneapolis, Minnesota, the heartland of America, and previewed the movie for an audience. And the response that we got back, which really informed how we finished the movie, because we knew the movie was too long, and we just had to get it to a point where it was just long. People told us where it was too long was the sinking. And what they wanted to keep was the story and the character. And ultimately, that's why that movie worked. And that's, again, why I think advertising works or any of those things. It's who are the people you're putting in the center, and what is the story they're taking you on.
So when you finally did get around to sinking the boat, at the time, that was a pretty good sink. I mean,
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about the technology in Titanic at that time?
Well, you know, what we tried to do, you know, we're always looking ahead. And one of the things I say about Jim Cameron, when he does his movies, he's always thinking about the next one. So, for example, if anybody has seen The Abyss and they have the water column that comes out, Jim put that into The Abyss knowing that if he could not solve it for The Abyss, he couldn't do Terminator 2 with the liquid metal man coming out. And, you know, all of those things. So we took the opportunity on Titanic to take a model and build a ship as a model and to populate it with digital people, something that had never been done before, to bring a model to life on the screen. And we were already thinking about Avatar, because Jim, in fact, had written Avatar before we started filming Titanic, and we knew we had to solve how to bring CG characters into a photographic world.
So let's see, before we talk about Avatar, do we have a video? Otherwise I'll add libs.
Mocap ready and action! I think the thing that people need to keep very strongly in mind is that this is not an animated film. These actors did not just stand at a lectern and do a voice part, and then animators went off for the next 2 years and created the entire physicality of their performance.
The most exciting thing is, it is my performance. This thing walks and talks and acts like me. It's my interpretation.
Every nuance, every tiny bit of the performance that you see on the screen was created by the actors. They had to run, they had to leap, they had to fight, they had to do all the things that you see them doing in the film. And that's where the power of the performance comes from.
It's not just we're capturing emotion, we're trying to capture what's the intent of the actor.
Let's go!
What CGI technology does is it replaces prosthetics. Actors can now play any character that's designed in the computer without going through hours and hours of makeup. And what we get is their performance coming through the CGI character. Just like you would get Eric Stoltz's performance coming through in The Mask, you get Zoe Saldana's performance coming through in Neytiri. So that gives you a little sense of what we went through in the production, but the key to us was it was about the actors. You know, we needed to make characters that were engaging and emotive, and we knew we wanted to use computer-generated technology to enable that. And we had to make a commitment to Sigourney Weaver, to Sam, to CCH Pounder, and the rest of the cast, that when they saw the movie, it was going to be their performance, not an animator's interpretation of their performance. Because if you think about it, what a great actor does and what a great animator does are oftentimes antithetical to one another. A great actor withholds information. A great animator adds information. And for us, you know, again, movies are about that. The success of Avatar is not the technology. The success of Avatar is not the scale and the scope of the world. It's the characters that take you on a journey. And it's also something else that we talk about when we look to develop movies. And I think the same thing, again, applies to advertising. On movies, we're looking to have themes that are bigger than our genre. So that if people could be surprised by a theme, because the theme is the emotional content you leave the theater with while you leave the plot at the theater.
So, Avatar, wow. Rewind. How long ago did that idea?
Jim wrote the first pass of Avatar about 15 years ago. At the time, we knew the technology didn't exist. And,
What took so long?
well,
Took
you
a long
know,
time to sink the boat. Took a long time.
and when I talk about technology, people are often confused too, because people think that it might be the 3D technology. It's not. We were waiting for that close-up technology to get there. 3D was something that, you know, we were developing along the lines, and we were going to apply that, whether it be to Avatar or to any other area. And I think, you know, 3D is something that we believed in, you know, 10 years ago.